I'm following up on the exterior paint. The beige is slightly off the approved color palette.
We matched the sample exactly. I can show you the swatch.
Blue air hit my face when I opened the door. The street smelled like wet asphalt and burnt coffee from my mug. A bright orange paper hung on my porch like a slap. Karen from the HOA stood at the bottom step in her fleece, waving a clipboard while her golf cart's amber light pulsed. She said I was delinquent, effective now, and the fine was $287 plus a daily penalty. Her voice had that sugar that cuts. Pay by 9:00 p.m. tonight or we start the lien. Behind her, a couple of neighbors peeked through blinds. It felt like the whole block holding its breath. This is about that moment, and everything after. Karen fined me on the porch for unpaid dues, had no idea I am their city attorney. I told her my dues were on autopay, and my bank shows it, May 3, 2024, posted at 7:12 a.m. She lifted her pen like a sword and said late is late. The board voted to tighten rules. She said new fee, new clock, new teeth. I asked for the vote record. She smiled like a closed door and said attend the meeting if I wanted answers. Then she drove off, lights still flashing like a toy police car. I tried the calm route first. I emailed the board at 9:34 a.m. and got a bounce from 2 addresses. I called the management company and sat on hold for 35 minutes while a loop told me my call mattered. I walked over to my next-door neighbor, Mr. Lee, and he whispered not to make waves. He had kids. He'd seen what happened last time. I asked what last time meant. He swallowed. Timeline item 1 April 5 at 4:27 a.m. false trespass call. A teen cutting through the grass. They called the police. They called a lot, he said, hands shaking. I sent one more email to the board and copied myself. The only reply came from Karen, pay now or face collections. 10 days. No appeal. That was my line in the sand. No yelling. No petty payback. Only proper channels. I made coffee that tasted like steel and got to work. I lined up photos, emails, and call logs in a binder. I pulled my bank records and printed every autopay receipt for the last 12 months. Then I filed a public records request for HOA complaints routed through our city's non-emergency line. When the reply came, the file landed with 63 pages. I read every page at my kitchen table. 11 complaints in 3 months, all from the same number, all listing vague threats. I highlighted the timestamps and the language. I cross-checked the HOA bylaws, the State Nonprofit Act, and our city code on lien procedures. Here's the plain law line: patterns of false reports can be prosecuted. Also plain, you can't invent fees that aren't in the recorded governing documents. The annual meeting was set for May 15 at 6:00 p.m. I showed up early and sat in the back by the folding chairs that wobble. People whispered. Karen wore a red scarf and the smile of a gatekeeper. She opened with a speech about accountability and how some people think rules don't apply to them. She held up a stack of orange notices like trophies. I waited, breathing slow. When it was time for member questions, I stepped to the mic and kept my voice even. You fine me for unpaid dues. Here are my bank statements showing on-time payments, including the autopay on May 3 at 7:12 a.m. I clicked the projector and put up a slide. Then another. Then the binder. The room leaned in. I said the quiet part out loud. I also serve as the city attorney, and I'm here in my personal capacity, but I did bring something official. I handed the chair a letter on city letterhead. It cited the ordinance that preempts any HOA lien unless notice is proper and fees match the recorded schedule. It also cited the state law that bans undisclosed administrative surcharges. In simple words, you cannot charge a made-up fee and then hang a lien threat on someone's door. I turned the page. This is a notice of inquiry into repeated misuse of the non-emergency line. We have recordings. I played one. The audio crackled, a voice saying there's a suspicious man, works in City Hall, might be dangerous. Then the timestamp showed 4:27 a.m. I matched it on the slide. The room went quiet. Karen's face went paper white. Neighbors lifted phones and started filming. Someone whispered wow. Someone else laughed a little too loud. The payoff landed like a pin dropping in a gym. A council member, who lived 3 blocks over, stood up and said he'd joined to observe. He asked for the vote record Karen bragged about. She shuffled papers. Nothing. I clicked to a slide showing the last posted minutes. No vote, no notice, no rule change. A mom in the 3rd row asked if her late fee for $40 was fake too. Hands popped up like popcorn. Comments started rolling in on the neighborhood app before we even finished. Karen tried to pivot into a speech about decorum. The management rep, red in the face, muttered, "We'll take this offline." The police liaison, invited for a safety talk, leaned into his mic and said false reports waste real resources and carry consequences. Cameras caught everything. By the end of the hour, the board voted right there to rescind the fines, refund the unlawful fees, and suspend Karen as compliance chair pending review. The police liaison took copies of the complaint logs. The council member asked for an audit of dues accounting for the last year. I turned to the crowd and said one more plain law line: you can enforce rules you actually adopted, you cannot invent them at the porch. Heads nodded. The chair apologized to me, quiet and clipped. The management company rep promised to retrain staff and post the correct fee schedule by Friday. People clapped, but the sound had an edge to it. Not gloating. Relief. The aftermath was simple and good. A week later, checks arrived, refunds for 33 homeowners, total restitution $1,600. Karen resigned from the board and signed a public apology. The city closed the inquiry with a warning and a fine for misuse of the non-emergency line. The neighborhood app calmed down. Kids rode bikes again without someone dialing at the window. Mr. Lee brought over lemon bars and said thank you in a voice that shook. I sipped coffee on my porch, no orange paper in sight, just the smell of cut grass and late sun. Peace is quiet and, finally, shared. Please follow for more HOA showdowns like this. Do you think she got what she deserves? Comment below.